Ex-Formula One driver Jan Lammers has criticized Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff and Lewis Hamilton for refusing to take responsibility for their tactical shortcomings at the end of Sunday's season-defining Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Max Verstappen sealed his maiden Drivers' Championship triumph under controversial circumstances on the final lap of the race after a late safety car brought the Dutchman back into contention at the last moment. The 24-year-old reaped the rewards of FIA race director Michael Masi's decision to only allow some lapped cars to unlap themselves before the final lap restart. This allowed Verstappen to close up to Hamilton on much fresher tyres than his Mercedes counterpart before forcing his way ahead to take the checkered flag. Red Bull opted to pit the newly crowned world champion for a new set of softs under the safety car, while Hamilton was told to stay out. The latter was forced to try and defend his lead on worn hard tires as a result, leaving him as nothing more than a sitting duck on the last lap of the race. Lammers has since hit out at Mercedes over their decision to protest the result, insisting that they were responsible for Hamilton's defeat after failing to match Red Bull's gamble with a late pit stop. They all make the decisions and in the end you see at the end of the race which ones were the right ones, Lammers told motorsport.com. If you didn't make the right decisions in those circumstances, as in the case of Mercedes, then you shouldn't start beating around the bush and accusing others. Then you really just have to put your hand in your own pocket. At the time that yellow flag and safety car were there, there was still 6 corners to go for Mercedes and Hamilton to consider whether or not to come in. Lewis drove past the accident of Nicholas Latifi. They had enough time and also enough people behind the scenes thinking about the strategy. So I think you can expect them to have had every opportunity to make a decision to come in or not. They chose not to come in, that was their choice. Verstappen was of course in a better situation because he was a bit later. But that doesn't mean Mercedes didn't have a choice. That's a decision you make, good or bad. I understand it's difficult, but if you make that decision then afterwards also accept it wasn't the right choice. Mercedes went on to give notice of their intention to appeal the FIA's decision to reject their initial protests after the end of the race. However, they opted to withdraw their complaints on Thursday in order to focus on holding motorsport's governing body to account in their efforts to prevent a future repeat. Wolff later explained that although Mercedes believed they had a case, they were not convinced over the likelihood of the FIA ruling in their favor. The FIA can't really mark their own homework, there is a difference between being right and obtaining justice, Wolff told reporters in a press conference. It is going to take a long time for us to digest what has happened on Sunday. I don't think we will ever get over it, that's not possible.